Being new in an MMORPG can be overwhelming, but being a content creator on top of that who's either making a living out of their content or trying to get there, well, that can make matters super complicated. Among all those sprouts who joined FF14 in 2021, myself included, there are plenty of content creators coming either from different games or to the world of content creation and gaming in general. This video may not be super popular as it's quite niche, but it's meant to help all the fellow FF14 creators create a better experience for their audience. I'll try to keep it FF14 specific, as you can get all sorts of other content creation advice elsewhere. Most of these things I had to discover on my own, and while I still haven't mastered all of it, being aware of these things helps me make my audience happier, so you might find them helpful too. My name is Ivona from momsden.com, and if this is your first time around here, subbing is a good idea. I do simple MMO guides for classes, raids, and collectibles you'll love if you enjoy getting easy in-game wins in no time. I also livestream Final Fantasy XIV on this channel quite a lot, so if you enjoy a lovely community and good times, feel free to drop by, we'd love to have you. Anyway, when it comes to streaming FF14, a lot of my friends are torn between doing and not doing the MSQ on stream. While it is true that you might ruin someone's day by spoiling a part of the story, you can easily avoid that by making sure your thumbnails and titles represent exactly what you're doing, but with no story spoilers. When I make my own thumbnails, I often look up the next zone I'll be visiting in the MSQ and get some friends to share some print screens of it, or I find an image on my own. That way you're not responsible for anyone dropping by your stream and seeing something they're not supposed to. Also, having your community be a part of your journey is an invaluable experience for both you and them, and I'd say you should definitely serve this as a piece of content for your audience, as the ones who have already played through the story will love seeing you do it. And mind you, most of your audience has played through the MSQ if they're watching you, so don't worry too much. When you do get a surge of people in the chat who you don't recognize from before, or you get raided or hosted, make sure to casually mention where you're at in the story as you're introducing yourself, as someone may truly be new and in for some massive story spoilers. If you are streaming your MSQ, looking up the quest list for your current content is a good idea, as you can set some reasonable goals for your streams, as you'll know how much there is in a particular subsection. I usually try to stream meaningful interconnected quests up until an achievement or after a dungeon or a trial in one go, so that the people who watch the stream can feel like they've gotten something meaningful out of it. FF14 is full of the blue quests and other side content like unlocking flying, side dungeons, and stuff like that. My honest advice if you're just starting out is to do those off stream, as they're usually not that meaningful, but they take a lot of time, and unless you've got an audience that will watch you no matter what you do and talk to you the whole time, you might feel bored and discouraged. If you have days off stream, I suggest unlocking the game then while actually playing it when you go live. If you're doing the story content, you should be at least reading the dialogues, if not role-playing them too. Just be careful to always listen to the in-game sounds too, so you don't accidentally start reading what the voice actor is already saying. It sounds like a silly tip, but it happened to me once, and let's just say I'm happy I wasn't my viewer, as it probably wasn't cool. If you're not done with the story just yet, try to be aware of people spoiling it in chat, or have an FF14 veteran mod to help you with it. If you see a comment that's spoiling something to you or others, don't read it out loud and try not to read it at all, and feel free to immediately delete it. The FF14 community is surprisingly tame when it comes to this kind of stuff, so I doubt you'll ever face someone who will purposefully spoil the story and be publicly recognized as an ass, but you never know. Having people in your stream means they're also having to put up with your UI choices, and not just you. Make sure your camera isn't covering anything vital to the experience, and go through the setting to get rid of or simplify anything that may be too much. Personally, I always keep my gauge in a simplified version, as they can get a bit flashy, but that's completely up to you and your audience. Not only will they be looking at your UI, but also your character, so even if you're a low-level character, get familiar with the glamour system and wear something, cheap but nice, so you're not making the cutscenes too loud with your fashion choices, or lack of them. This sounds a bit cruel, but I was the one who made this mistake, and I walked around like a metal trash can for the first 30 levels or so don't be me. On the other hand, don't feel pressure to play a race that's popular like Lalafell or a cat girl if you're not into it. It's not going to make your content better if you're not enjoying your character, so play what you want, not what you think your chat wants. Spell effects are another thing to consider, and I suggest turning off your party's spell effects down to a minimum so it's more clear what's going on with you. The same goes for music and spell effects, and when it comes to that, don't forget to turn off the error messages when you're trying to spam spells, as they also make noise and they're not fun to listen to. If you decide to boost your character's story and get straight into the endgame, it's not a bad thing for you to do that as a content creator. You don't owe the story to anyone. However, this game is famous for its story, and if you at any point happen to offend it or say something dismissive about it, people will take that very poorly. If you're a raider, go be a raider, but be very respectful of the community you're streaming for, and don't let anyone tell you you're playing the game in a wrong way. When it comes to preparation for your streams, it's best if you're not going in blind for some hard content. MSQ dungeons and trials are fine to go into clueless, but for anything else, I'd at least look up some guides beforehand so I don't come ill prepared, especially if I'm doing events with my community. Oh, and if you happen to have a personal estate or an FC house, it might be a cool idea to share your ward and plot location somewhere in your social media descriptions, like Twitch bio or YouTube description of the stream. People might be happy to visit you in-game, and if you're comfortable with that kind of stuff, it could be fun, and it might land you a few more FC members, you never know. Now, a few tips about managing your community and a relationship with it. As a content creator, having your own Discord channel is almost a must, as people who find themselves in your chat on stream may want to continue those relationships off-stream, and it would be kind of you to provide them with a safe corner to do that. Also, having your own FC is a good idea, as people within the community and beyond can be a part of your journey and become your friends. In FF14 you will need friends for a lot of stuff, so even if you're iffy about being an FC founder, it's really not that big of a deal and can be an amazing experience for all of you. And even if your community is not a part of your FC, inviting them to do content with you whenever there's a chance is a great way to know a friend or two, while enabling your viewers to be a part of your community and your gameplay. You can even organize events like roleplay venues, glamour and mount competitions, triple triad tournaments, chocobo races, or whatever you're into. If you're new to the game, accepting advice from your community can often be a really good thing. If you're more of a proud, no backseat person, that's fine, but there are plenty of things to learn about the game. Letting your guard down a bit and accepting at least the stuff that sounds reasonable to you and the others will take you far, and I'm saying this as someone who normally is sensitive to feedback. When I got into FF14, I left my dignity outside of it and decided to just listen to these wise people and their life-saving tips, and I never looked back. If you're a content creator, you're probably always looking for ways to grow your channel, but know that acting like you're alone in the world isn't gonna get you anywhere in an MMORPG community. Find a few buddies who are on the same journey, in the same game, and preferably around the same size as you, and be there for each other. Chances are you'll be sharing some of the eyeballs and can work together to create a welcoming community for people who choose to be a part of it. Finally, being in the game means you're a player and nothing more. Even when you stream, you still have the same rules and responsibilities as all the other players, and that includes having the same rights too. If someone is griefing, stalking, or molesting you in-game, or being inappropriate in any way, it's perfectly okay to block or even report them without worrying about your appearance on stream. Never feel bad about standing up for yourself, and don't let anyone treat you differently because you're a streamer if you're uncomfortable with it. Unless they're gifting you a 20 million gil mount or something, because why would you feel uncomfortable about that, right? And that's all I've got for now when it comes to some FF14 streaming tips. Let me know if you have some advice of your own. Massive shout out to my own community here on YouTube and on Patreon, who are not only supporting me as a content creator and helping me do this full time, but they're also a part of this lovely MMO family that we've got going on. They are literally what keeps me going and my channel running, but they're also friends and my emotional support system that I need more than I'd like to admit. Anyway, I'll be seeing you in my next video or here on live. Have a great day and bye bye.